Hello, this is Mr. Skinner again, talking to you from the beginning of day 3 of NaNoWriMo planning for 2015. I'm actually kind of reviewing a little bit of day 2, but I wanted to go ahead and get a start on this before day 3 actually begins. Day 2, we said that we were going to be focused on the narrator and starting to think about the conflict a little bit. So, from my story, I've already mentioned that I've got 2 separate narrators. The second one, I'm not sure who I want them to be yet, but the primary narrator I do know. I'm wanting my main character, my narrator, to be kind of like the hero in the story, so they're also the protagonist, and they're going to speak mostly from first-person point of view, I think. The main narrator is the teacher, and like I said, he may be a middle school teacher, but I'm thinking maybe more like high school, just to make him a little bit more believable for some of the other things that are going on. But he might have taught for some years in middle school before moving up to high school, so he may even be teaching like one class at college, just a little like remedial class, just something for some extra money. Today in our writing classes, I want us to start looking at the conflict a little bit more definitely, and also examine a little bit more about our protagonist and antagonist and start thinking about what inciting incident is going to cause most of the conflict going on in our story. So if we're looking at our workbooks, we're talking about the protagonist and saying more than anything in the world, the protagonist wants blank. What is the thing that he or she wants the most? And then what is the one or two things that they're most afraid of? Is there like a weakness? And again, it mentions something like kryptonite. You know, what would Superman's weakness be? What would Batman's weakness be? What is the conflict between protagonist and antagonist? So moving on to talking about the antagonist, it's what do they want more than anything else in the world? And it can be like, do they want world domination? Do they just want somebody to give them a break and say, hey, you're not a bad guy? And is there something that the antagonist is afraid of? And for whatever reason, they wrote kittens with a big question mark here. What kind of an antagonist is afraid of kittens? I have no idea. Alright, one of my students has a really wonderful idea, and I don't want to, name who it is or anything, but her story is already set up to where her protagonist is kind of like a teenage superhero. The antagonist is the teenage superhero's twin sister, identical twins. And the identical twin wants to be the hero instead, but just isn't a good enough person. So whatever has kind of set this off, I don't know what it is yet, but I think it's fascinating already. The evil twin wants to take over the world. Now that she can't be the good hero, she's going to be the villain. I think that that's pretty innovative. I can't think of a time when that's been done before, but it may have. I can't imagine why nobody's done it before if they haven't. Another one of my students told me that their main narrator and their protagonist is a dog, and I'm not sure exactly where the rest of the story was going. I was a little confused on that. Some of my students still don't have a clue where to begin yet, so I'm hoping that today we can talk about that a little bit more. There's a couple of pages in their workbook where they can talk about their characters and character questionnaire and go into great detail. Sorry if you can't hear me. Go into great detail about their characters. Just all kinds of things about what they like, what they don't like, what a pet peeve is. I had to go over that with some students. And I'm going to make additional copies of this so that students can add more characters, think about more characters in a more in-depth way. We've talked earlier in the year about round characters and flat characters, and I'm hoping to see a lot more round characters by some of these activities. And we may even, when we're starting to look at the stories, some of the overall plans later this week, we may be looking at them and saying, you know what, this character is a little too flat. Maybe look back at these pages and round them out a little bit more. Add some more information about them. I'm looking for some good videos or something, maybe to show them today, to talk about the conflict or to talk about the protagonist and antagonist, and to think about that inciting incident, that one thing that causes the problem to go on, that causes the incident, causes the conflict to really begin. The plan is about plot, but I might be absent from school tomorrow, so that's going to be kind of a work day for them to do whatever they can. I may go ahead and talk a little bit about plot today and get them started thinking about it so that they can kind of map out a plot diagram tomorrow. My thought is have a bunch of butcher paper and or just regular construction paper or something, and have them go ahead and draw out a plot diagram for their story, and maybe come up with like a working title so far, even if they don't know for a fact what it will be yet. Friday's plan, that would be day 5, is supposed to talk about setting, but we've already talked a little bit about setting. So I'm hoping that maybe they can think of some settings and plot all together and be ready to do this. In fact, doing a plot diagram and having it turned in Friday is a really good idea. We can put them up inside the class or put them up out in the hallway. Alright, so with my story, what's going on? I'm not sure about my antagonist yet. The actual story I'm basing mine on, we don't know yet who the bad guy was. We don't know what their motive was. We don't know what happened. We don't know all of the details of what happened with this girl. But my narrator telling the story was a kid when Sherry was kidnapped and is now an adult and knows Sherry as an adult, as well as knowing her from when they were kids. So knew about the story, knew about what happened, but nobody knows exactly what happened. I'm thinking that her brother might be the kidnapper, because he's a year or two older. He could have done it. Since she was found at the school, that's a possibility. I'm thinking that her father, that was the doctor at the time, could have been the original kidnapper, and now the son's kind of taken over that. I've thought also that it's possible that she is suffering from some kind of like repressed memories or something, and she is the one that's now kidnapping and killing young girls. The actual story, we don't know if she was raped or not, and I've toyed with the idea. It's almost too easy to think that yes, whoever kidnapped her would have raped her as well. But it's possible that if they didn't rape her, maybe that is a clue to what the whole kidnapping was about. Maybe that's a clue that says maybe it was something else. And the fact that there is no rapes happening in the more modern beatings, abductions, and killings, maybe that would be something also that says that she's the one doing it. That would be an interesting twist. That would deal with a little bit more psychology than what I'm ready to do right now. But I think that would be a cool idea. Alright, I've got to figure out who my bad guy is in my story, because I'm not sure yet. Could be a random person, could be a split personality, could be the victim from the original, could be her brother, could be her dad, could be just some random stranger that we don't know. And of course there's also little red herrings about other characters, smaller characters that aren't all that important, that it could have been them, and it could have been, and it could have been, because this was a huge mystery for everybody. I'm excited, but a little scared still, because I don't know who my bad guy is yet, and I might not know until I'm writing the story. That might be something I have to fix with editing later on. I don't know how many of the rest of you have ever written a story where you didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I don't know how this one will end. I think I know, but I don't know for sure. We'll see. Alright, my video for today is already over 9 minutes long, and I need to try to keep each one of these at 10 minutes or shorter, so I don't know how I'm doing this, but I think I'm going to, I think I'm already learning some things that I want to do differently with next year with the planning, so we shall talk with you again today. I've got some plans late tonight, so it might be tomorrow before I post an update on day 3. I'm not here for day 4 with the students, but I will be working on day 4 on my own as well. Have a great day. Bye.